This is Ashton Markus, and I'm on location at International City Theater in Long Beach for their presentation of Silent Sky. Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Jennifer Cannon. I was born and raised in Mississippi, and I live in Glendale now. I've been here in LA for about 5 years, and from LA, I came to LA from New York. I was in New York before.
Great, and which character did you play?
I played Henrietta Leavitt. Henrietta is a real-life person. She was an astronomer in the 1890s and early 1900s that discovered Cepheid variables in our sky, which basically led to the discovery that we can measure distances within space. And my take on her is that she is a brave, perseverant, and impossible to distract woman who is very focused on her work, and a very beautiful woman.
Yeah, I like your performance of this because basically you're tackling a topic that's very, esoteric, very kind of broad, very scientific, but also it was very human. I mean,
yes.
Even though, again, it's a broad, dry, scientific topic, you put a lot of humanity into it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, that's the whole point of this, is that you can get kind of bogged down with the science and what is all this, but at the heart of it were these women and men, but these women who were making these incredible discoveries, and it was time consuming what they did. So you have to put the humanity in that, because that's taxing on any human soul. But they persevered.
Yeah. Plus, also I like the way you played it in the sense. You also made it big. It was like we're talking about something big, important. It's not like we're talking about string theory. We're talking about quantum physics. No, you're talking about something that's very passionate.
Yes, and completely connected to humanity, like you said, like this big, broad feeling of where are we in the world. I mean, it has to be broad because she felt so tiny, and she was okay with feeling tiny. But yes.
Once again, I really loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Leslie Stevens. I'm lucky enough to be an actress in this play currently at ICT called Silent Sky, and I've been an actor for about 35 years. Was a Broadway girl in New York, and then came out here. I come from a classical dance background.
And which character do you play?
I play Annie Cannon, who is, I guess you would say for this piece, I'm the heavy. I'm sort of the bad news.
Actually, what is your take really on that character?
My real take is it's a woman in that period, between 1900 and 1918, who really is taking the fight to heart to try to get their work appreciated, or to really get a chance for women and really feeling what's at stake. So she's a little uptight and testy, but I'm so honored to get to do it. It's a great ride to see through the play that a character could come into themselves, even if they don't fit the mold.
I think characters that time, women that time, if you were in a person of position, you almost had to be like, again, the heavy. You had to be a little bit mean, kind of a little matronly.
Well, I feel like you were expected. I read about this, and part of the prevailing wisdom at the time was you can educate women, but they can only do as well as what men are already doing, so why bother? They should be taking care of the family. So you had like layers of judgment about what was appropriate for you, and to try to change that, you were trying to make them not see you as a woman, just see you as somebody who could do the job. And they were sort of inventing a way to change that impression. That's what's so interesting.
You think a whole lot has changed about that? The impression that women have to give. You think a whole lot has changed since then?
Well, yes and no. I feel like there are so many opportunities that are available, and I'm so grateful for that. But if you're going to be in a position of authority, there's a very interesting dynamic that you need to thread to keep the sensibilities from getting ruffled.
Well, I really like the piece. First of all, you talked about astrophysics, you talked about quasars, but it was actually a story about a human being. It wasn't a story as much about science as it was about, say, a person in discovery.
That's one of the things I like so much about the story, is that it includes the science and the passion around the science, but it really is what the science means. It means it gives this individual a chance to fulfill what they're capable of, and she meets in the story. She meets other people and other women who have followed a similar kind of path, and that's very universal. Everybody likes to feel like they get a chance to fulfill the gifts they have, whatever they are. And so the science, believe me, I can't do the math that we talk about, but but it's been thrilling to learn about what these women did.
Yeah, once again, a real lovely performance. Thank you very much for being on the show, and I also loved your choreography in Oklahoma.
Thank you so much. It meant so much to me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you once again for being on the show. Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Jennifer Parsons.
And which character did you play?
Wilhelmina Fleming. She is Scottish. She is she loves life, and she works really hard to keep loving it.
Yeah, I like the way this was done because, again, it's a topic that's very scientific, could be dry, but you guys actually made it like a discovery, like a historical piece that actually focused on the struggles that women are having.
Well, it is. It's a direct. I mean, you saw the movie Hidden Figures. It's basically the same idea. Women weren't respected for the stuff they could do, and nobody thought they could do it. And they were taking extra time out of their daily shift to work these things out. And so they were discovering stuff. And then once they discovered it, somebody else took it, and it became somebody else's work. So anyway.
But it's also very human connecting, because, I mean, who connects with quasars?
It's about passion. It's about discovery. And I think all of us know that.
Once again, I really love the performance. I loved your part in it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Eric Wentz. I grew up in a tiny town in Wisconsin called Richland Center. One claim to fame is we're the birthplace of Frank Lloyd Wright. There's also a really great theater about a half hour away called American Players Theater, which is where I sort of kind of fell in love with acting. And I studied at Juilliard for 4 years after graduating high school. And I've been out in the LA area for around 10 years now, and doing theater, TV, film, just anything I can get my hands on, and sort of it's kind of me, yeah.
And which character did you play?
I played the role of Peter Shaw. Well, Peter was an interesting role because, like a lot of the other characters in this piece, they are actually biographical, historical, they're based off of historical figures. Peter, however, was not, but he was just so well written by the playwright that I just feel like, as soon as I got the script and read it, that I just got a sense of who he was from the get-go, He's science isn't really his passion, he's kind of maybe a theater nerd, like he loves Gilbert and Sullivan and doing musicals and stuff like that. But because of his family, coming from an upper crust family, that's what the kind of respectable job he needed to do. And but he's very smart. He ended up being inspired by Henrietta to be inspired by the work finally, and that's sort of what was lacking, was inspiration, and then he finally got it through her. So
I like the way they handled this piece, because again, it deals with quasars, it deals with astronomy, really kind of esoterical topics that might not connect with the audience, but I felt a connection. I felt the audience connected, because it was more of a story about a human being, about a astronomer, not astronomy. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. That's, I think, the big challenge about a story like this is that you gotta really, the base has to be the human element. If it's too intellectual, people sort of get lost in space, pardon the pun, but it's true. And so you don't have to understand. I think that what's so great about this play is that it invokes a sense of wonder. So you don't have to necessarily understand everything about, physics and, it was a little bit before the quantum mechanics, but we started with relativity and all this stuff. And I still can't really wrap my head around a lot of that stuff. But I can wrap my head around just the unspeakable, indescribable wonder of looking out into the stars, and that just comes down on like a very deep level of what is the point of all of this, our lives, and it gives us a tremendous amount of macro perspective. So
yeah, that's also another thing I liked about you guys. You really play it to the point where you're talking about astrophysics. You're not really talking about astrophysics where it's boring, but you're talking about the wonderment of the universe, of infinity, staring out, and wow, what is this stuff? And then being very passionate about that. I love that.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic, and even just reading the piece, and even just doing the table read. I remember all of us were starting to choke up, especially at Henrietta's last speech. I mean, it's just, and then when you add the the amazing lighting design and the sound design and just the tableau of all of us. I mean, just the words alone. I mean, you kind of don't even have to do anything. Sometimes something is so well written, speech is so well written, and thoughts are so well conveyed that you just got to get out of the way as an actor, out of the way of these beautiful ideas and thoughts. And it was certainly a real blessing to be able to work with those words. So, yeah.
Once again, I loved your performance, and I love this. I loved everyone's performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Ashton Markus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Erin Williams. I trained at New York University. I'm a Long Beach resident. This will be my 4th time working at ICT. I love it here. Can't be beat.
And which character you played?
I played Margaret, who's the sister of Henrietta Leavitt, the play is based upon. Margaret is a stand-in for women of the day. We've got these other 3 women who are actual historical characters in this play, but Margaret was not a real person in Henrietta's life, but she's a stand-in for what kind of life that these women gave up, that this sort of homemaker, conservative, concerned with womanly things type woman. And then, the beautiful part is that she shifts as well through the show and learns to find her passion and learns to support her sister's, science. And I don't know, I think she's a real truth speaker, and she's a good-hearted and loving sister.
I found the play, well, first of all, I like the play, but it tackled a very broad topic about science and quasars and all that. And actually, I think, but it was also very human, though. And I think your character actually added a lot of humanity into it.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. And yeah, I do. I think that she is. Yeah, and she's representative of family and representative of, the human ties that Henrietta had. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about a life as being a woman back then, during that time?
Well, I can tell you from the costumes that we had to wear, it would have been a little bit tougher than today. This was a time that choices were limited for women, and I think you do a show like this and you realize that that if you're a woman today, you're standing on the back of the work that these women did at this time, and the resistance that they already pushed through. And there was a lot of pressure for them to be a certain way, and not a lot of options to follow. And I think those 3 women that were following in the show really broke the mold. And I'm thankful for the work they did.
Plus, also, when you look at the women that were there, they were really overqualified for the jobs they had.
Yes, absolutely. And it's true. The thing that they throw out several times in the show, where men had previously done the work that they had been doing the star spanking, and truly were no good at it. It was really detailed work, and it was really painstaking, and women of that day were trained to do this really detailed, painstaking work, and they, I think Wilhelmina's, the character of Wilhelmina says it really well at some point, where she, Henrietta knows that she's got the corner of somebody else's chance, and those women took that really difficult work and ran with it. It was the corner of the chance they were given, and they took it and they ran.
Okay, once again, I really love the performance. I loved you in it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Silent Sky will be playing at International City Theater in Long Beach from August 23rd to September 10th. For more information, go to www.internationalcitytheater.org.